actually on to that. Actually, we're on about the two Kerry boys. We're on about the five most skillful players in the country.
Yeah.
Who do you have? Clifford obviously won.
Well, you've put me on the spot because I was more annoyed. There was a leak in the camp. I seen your list, and I thought it was completely anti-Northern. Anti-Northern. It was disgraceful. There was no Ulster players.
I
We
actually,
actually have good footballers. But hi, we have good
I,
footballers up here. We don't fight all the time. We do have good footballers. So yeah.
I can't. I think I left
But
out Reno O'Neill. I think I left out Reno O'Neill for
what's
that
that?
sake. Or that I think I left out Reno O'Neill.
Unbelievable.
Reno O'Neill.
Unbelievable.
I don't know how I left that man out. When you said she's no Ulster players here, I was like, ah, very bad.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. You left out so many brilliant footballers. No, listen, look, from I suppose what you could do, Enda, you could nearly categorize them for me, right? You could nearly have who's still doing it at the top, the likes of Conor McManus, obviously Michael Murphy retired this year, there still is an element. You talked about Killian O'Connor, another great who's been around a long time. Kieran Kilkenny
Yeah,
is for me
yeah,
is probably one of the most skillful footballers because I'll tell you why. He was doing. I was actually down in Dublin with Shane doing one of Shane's coaching
yeah.
clinics, and Paul Galvin was one of the guest coaches along with myself and Jared, and Jared was
Yes,
on last week. And Galvin's, like, for a lot of coaches there, Paul's session probably would have seemed very simplistic, but as a coach,
yeah,
I could see very clearly the message he was delivering. The ability and the get the pass off your left side just as equally comfortable as your right side. What that does in a game, it just changes the dynamics of a game for you as a player. It opens up so many more doors. And Kieran Kilkenny was the master of creating those backdoor cuts for Dublin because he's coming along the Hogan stand, heading towards the hill. He was as easily comfortable giving an inside pass with his left as he was on the other side with his right, And a lot of footballers can't do that. So Kilkenny, for me, like, is one of the most skillful players that played. The likes of McManus. Obviously, you talked about Rion O'Neill, but you could probably throw and a couple of new kids on the block. The likes of that young Cush lad in Tyrone who's coming through. Adrian's young fella's a brilliant footballer. Peter Canavan's young lad, obviously, another stylish footballer. You've seen
are
the
they
famous toe tap.
are they are they at that level yet though, Stephen? Are they at that level
No,
yet though?
no, they're not. No, they're not. But they have extreme potential. Young Garland from Monaghan, Kieran Bannigan from Monaghan. Like, there's some brilliant young talent being coming through. There really is in Ireland now. Obviously, going to the likes of Clare, Hidden James. Obviously, David Tuberty led the line for a long time.
Yeah,
Now, young Keelan Saxon is a wonderful footballer.
yeah.
Jamie, what's Jamie's second name? Clare lad. Oh, Jesus, going to head now. Another brilliant footballer. But in some of those counties where maybe not, there's maybe not, they don't get the limelight the way the bigger counties get. Brian Hurley put on an exhibition at the weekend as well. Another brilliant footballer. Guys like that, because we're instantly going to be drawn to your Cliffords and your what do you call it? Your Cliffords and your Shawnee O'Shea's and stuff like that. But listen, a man that came on at the weekend and won the game for Fermanagh, Sean Quigley, probably not your modern S&C, dedicated man or whatever, not big into the gym and the weights and stuff, and doesn't have the physique maybe of a Brian Fenton or whatever, but still a skillful footballer. Keith Byrne of Leitrim, another brilliant player who you would probably
Yes.
know very well
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Colin.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Brilliant player.
Very good.
Currently the top scorer in the Formats, you know.
Uh, Porter, another comment here. Porter, Jason Duffy from Armagh actually put on an exhibition the first half. I don't know, he scored 4 points against Roscommon the last day.
Jason Duffy's a
Just to
real
get his, yeah, what's his
he's
story?
a real Jason Duffy's a real raw forward, out and out forward. You talk about a man being able to put a man on like Duffy. If I'm correct, Jason Duffy's same club as Kane McKeever. St Patrick's Cullyhanna. Him and Aidan Nugent play for the same club. A really, really good footballer. Very aggressive, very direct. In Armagh, a lot of footballers like that. Although they were very poor in the second half on Sunday now. But you go into Derry as well. Paddy McGrogan's playing some serious football at the minute for them. Like McGuigan is class. He is class, and McGuigan for me. I went down to RD a couple of weeks ago, and McGuigan's ability to kick off his left foot and his right foot was a joy to watch, a real joy to watch. McGuigan's up there, one of the best forwards in Ireland at the minute. Like, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
So if I put a gun to your head, who's your top five? You can't name everyone. Who's your top five?
All Ulster men. Rian O'Neill. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. No, Clifford. Clifford's a superstar. Clifford, he's Messi, Ronaldo. He's out there on his own at the minute. Clifford.
Yeah.
Clifford's my number one. Very hard to put them in order now. I'm going to go
Con,
Clifford number one. Who's
Con,
your number one then? Clifford?
Clifford. Yeah, I'd
Con.
go Con.
Con. Okay. I had McGuigan up there. I would unquestionably McGuigan up there.
So are we actually going numbering them one to five? We're doing that, are
I
we?
think we're going to go. Well, I'll tell you what I'll go then. I'll go Clifford one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go Shane Watts number two.
Oh, yeah. Right.
You retired Shane Watts. You see, you retired him there. You forgot about him. You retired him because you're a Mayo man. You were refusing to acknowledge all the
I'll tell
Did
you
you forget
what.
about that point, Shane Watts? Did you forget about that point?
No.
He kicked 10 points in the
Yeah.
final last year.
Yeah. Well, Con. I'm telling you, that's
I'm gonna go.
Con will be back this year.
I'm gonna go. Clifford, Shane Walsh. I'm gonna go McGuigan. Right. I'm gonna go. Con. Yeah. What's that? Four.
That's four, man. Four.
Right. You give me your four first, and I'll throw in the fifth one then.
Um, I had a. I would go. I'd say the top three for me is fairly obvious. Um, I did say in the group I have my top tier. They are my three in terms of I wouldn't have McGregor in my top three yet, simply because he hasn't done it in the biggest stage just yet. That's the only reason. I'm not disputing he's a top quality forward, but the three boys we've named out there in Clifford, Shane Walsh, and Khan, them three boys have all done it in the biggest stage. Then you have then four, five, Jack McNulty saying Sean O'Shea. Yeah, like there's like I forgot about Kieran Kilkenny. Honestly, like I don't know how I forgot about him, but like you're Kilkenny, you have Rian O'Neill, you have McGregor, you have Sean O'Shea. For me, they're the four. Put two of them in your last two
Yeah.
spots.
You see, you could probably write it. We've gone in with no real categories or rules behind it. We've sort of thrown it out. That's very general. But I would say if you're looking at longevity, the likes of Kilkenny would have to be in there. Brian Fenton,
Yeah,
even possibly, probably one of the most stylish midfielders in the country. Like so, lads that have done it, probably on a regular basis, and as you say, at the highest level. But maybe McGuigan hasn't had the opportunities to showcase his talents much on the highest
yeah,
level
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Harry have only
yeah,
really
yeah.
come over the last couple of
No,
years.
and that's look at like the boys are like teams the stronger teams or the traditional counties would say the players are very lucky like they have the platform obviously to go on and showcase that talent.
Yeah,
If McGuigan
yeah.
was a job we'll say or it was with Galway or whoever like Mayo like I had to laugh with like the last day with Mayo in terms of TG Carr with the coverage like after the I don't know did you see the interview after the game with Kevin McStay and Mihal does the interview like but
Okay.
Mihal was going like he was going to the top straight as in All Ireland surely for Mayo this year and Kevin McStay was just like here now geez can the Jets here it's the round three in February here like and Kerry were missing probably four or five of the main starters here. Like it's just like people, and this is not a criticism. Like but people, I suppose it's just the story behind Mayo. They just love. It's nearly like clickbait. If you mention Mayo, yeah, people just nearly click into the article because it's. Am I being or biased here by saying this, Stephen? What like is it just people just love to kind of get on the not on the bandwagon, but I thought he was going from 0 to 90 there within 70 minutes of the game. The Mihal from
Probably,
TJ.
I think it's probably just the way they started. They obviously last year's All Ireland finalists, Galway. They showed a lot of resilience the first day. Got a draw, went to athletic grounds, which is a really difficult place to go to. People
Yeah,
probably don't realise how passionate Armagh fans are and how difficult a place it is to go. I don't think Armagh lose too many more games in the Athletic Grounds, to be honest with you. Okay, they didn't lose that day. Actually, they drew with Mayo, but they got a really good
Yeah.
result in the Athletic Grounds that day. Should have won the game. They blitzed Kerry. Kerry had a send for the Cavalry. That first half display against Kerry was impressive. No matter what Kerry team's out there, like I was chatting to Billy Lee a few weeks ago. I was doing a podcast with Billy Lee, the former Limerick manager. Billy's a real
Yeah.
gentleman, and I said to him, Kerry are obviously going to go experimental, and he just leaned back and he says, look, there's never been a poor Kerry team. He says, and he's right. Like, Kerry don't do sort of second rate teams. Like, so like they'll be disappointed, as you say. McGeaney going down the road this week to Kerry. I'm sure he'll be feeling the backlash because Kerry play Armagh this week, and I will say Jack will circle the wagons this week in training, and there will be serious questions asked, like serious questions.
There'll be a lot of cold shoulders being had in the Kerry camp this week. I can assure you that.
Oh,
Um,
I'll tell you, no doubt about it.
There won't be too much communication. It'll be just literally the silence will be deafening from those players. It'll be he'll put out his. I would say he'll probably put out his strong. They need points. Kerry need points now. They have only 2 points in the board, so they need.
And I was looking at it, right? I was looking at it like as good as Roscommon have started, right? Roscommon have started really well. But if Monaghan were to win this week against Roscommon and Clonus, which could perceivably happen, right? Roscommon still have to play Kerry. They still have to go to Donegal in the last. They still have to play Mayo.
Yeah.
You could possibly be perceiving it could. What could happen in Division 1 for me, Enda, is I think by the end of Division 1, you could be getting into the last 2 games in contention for a league final and also in contention for relegation. And that's the way I think it'll be. I think that's what's going to happen in Division 1 this year. I think personally Donegal are in big trouble. I think they're in real big trouble. I don't like the vibes coming out of Donegal. And I'm not talking about the Donegal senior setup. That's unfair. I'm talking about the academy structure. Carl Lacey leaving his post. All the academy structures or all the academy coaches stepping away. That's not great for cohesion in the county. And it doesn't really feel... There seems to be something happening there. I don't know what it is, but all doesn't seem to be well there in the behind the scenes. And that can feed into a group too, boss, It definitely can.
So, yeah, to be honest, I think the two of us probably agreeing here that Donegal look to be our number one choice to be relegated this year. And the number 2, we're not so sure yet, are we? Are we saying that?
No.
No.
What was that something? You broke up there. Sorry, you broke up there. Sorry, Enda.
I said, what's going? Are we both saying? Well, I'm saying this. I don't know. Do you agree with this? But Donegal for me are the number 1 favourites to go down, and then the second team is.
I think they will go down. I think they will go down. Now, the only thing I'd say to you, they have played Kerry. They've played Kerry already, and you're probably looking at their next fixtures, thinking, right, they're probably going to be looking at Roscommon, and they're probably going to be looking at Armagh. At possibly, hopefully picking up points, but they'll not be easy games either. They'll not be easy games.
No. So I'm going off on tangent. Right, we've got what's the last 2? Pick your last 2, the most skillful players. Go to your head.
So I went with. I've got 4 in there. I've got Clifford. I have Clifford. I have Shane Walsh. I have McGuigan. I've Con, and I'm going to throw in Rian O'Neill for his flexibility and his ability to play both full forward and midfield, and it balances it out nicely. It keeps my Ulster partisan, 2 5.
We've got how many? We've got 2. Well, Shane Walsh, Clifford, Rian, obviously Ulster, Con, Leinster, McGuigan, Ulster, 2 Ulster, 1 Munster, 1 Connacht. Very good.
Well, it makes sense because Ulster is province by a mile. You know what I mean? So it makes sense.